Okay, so what is up, everyone? Sorry, just gotta move it in place. Hope you're all doing well. As I said, this will be a continuation of what we started earlier this morning. What is on my nose? Am I just. Dude, why is this thing so shiny? I look like Rudolph. Why's the side of my nose? It looks so bad. Nah. Okay, let's just we'll keep far for now. Um, what's up? We continue what we started this morning. We've got 3 days of stuff to do. I only got home at like, damn, what do we call it, 8ish? So it's currently quarter to 10. So I'm going to be here for a while. It's not the end of the world. Like we say, it's always nice to do these things. Like last time, I think I enjoyed it. There's time. It's longer time. It's more effort. It just feels a bit more quality over just getting it done. So when I did speak about this episode, I mentioned that something that's coming with my age is just reflecting on relationships with people. So I, like everyone else here, probably, I've had good relationships with people. I've had bad ones. I've had ones that ended in ways that they probably shouldn't have. I've had relationships that have stayed for much longer than I thought they would. Um, and one thing that comes with age, and I think it comes with all of us, is how your group gets smaller and a bit more intimate. And yeah, I always see myself as this person who's always I know a lot of people, or I know a good amount of people, but I have very few that I'm actually intimate with, any few that I'm close with. And I think that's just my personality. I do see that, like, I don't like, I have a problem with being close with people. It is something that I think I struggle with. I just find it weird, I come from a family where we weren't necessarily always on each other's cases. I mean, when we were never really in each other's cases. I had a dad. Listen, my parents love me a lot, but just to summarize how we are or how we were, because my mom is trying very hard to break down these walls recently. But we I had a relationship with my dad where it was he didn't care where I was, he just needed to know I was safe, and that's it. And my mom would follow, and there's I've lots of stories where I think just to sum up one, I got like detained at a mall once when I was younger, and would have been the stage where if my friend that I was with didn't get his mom to bail me out, my dad wouldn't have known anything about my whereabouts or anything because I had a phone. They took it, obviously. Sure, those things kind of can happen, but to my memory of the situation, he didn't even know where I was. He was just, and like I said, this doesn't mean he doesn't love me by any stretch. My dad has done the most for me, and so has my mother. But yeah, like that's just our relationship. And I can't even tell you my sister's dating record. To me, she's just dated one person, and that's her fiance right now. In terms of my parents met my first girlfriend 5 months into our relationship. So and that was the first time they met her. And I never told them about her. I never said anything. We very to ourselves kind of people, despite my mother being the one that's obviously trying to pull us all together. Um, but of that, my sister and I are probably the closest, I think, out of everyone in the family. And I think there's nothing that I think I would do for her, I wouldn't do for her. And I think she's the same. Although I think hers comes with a bit more guidance and leadership in the sense of just life experience. I think she's a bit further ahead in that kind of stuff. And that's why she wants the best for me. And what her best for me is it's her own way of thinking what's best for someone, But yeah, back to what my point was. I was just thinking of relationships and um, yeah, obviously my struggle of keeping people close. And I just had a dream of like I just sat, and it was one of these things where I don't know, I forgot what caused the dream, but it came down to me meeting a bunch of my old friends when I was younger, and they were all in different periods of my life. It wasn't just one period of my life that those group of friends came up in the stream. It was one from this period, one from this period, a couple from another period, and like I don't know, I think something happened where it just was a blame game, I think, and then I woke up. But what I wanted to bring to light with this is what upset me after waking up was just I never sat and realized when the last moment I had with these people was. What did we do? What did we think of? Like, did I know that I would never interact or see them in person again? It- like maybe I'll see them around, but I'm not like, seeing them like I used to. And it just makes you sit and wonder, like, and makes you think, like, you should cherish these relationships. I mean, um, sure, things can end sour. Sure, people can do wrong by you, or you can do wrong by other people, like to other people, and all these other things. But, like, I don't know, it just upsets me to think that we all see good in each other. That's why we keep people in our groups and in our circle. And sure, people will let people down. We're not perfect in no stretch of the imagination. We're literally going through a whole book that shows how not perfect we are, and how we have the ability to do better. And yeah, it just makes me think, like, if you have friends or anything, just I don't know, just sometimes just enjoy their presence. Be grateful for those people in your life. Admire the things that the reasons why they're in your life. What have they done for you? What have you done for them? How is your relationship with each other? Admire the fact that you have these relationships, because you get older and you sure, like I said, my girlfriend had a thing where I say she's got no friends and she says I've got no friends. So she's in varsity, so she's got friends in my class. Um, she's still got friends from school, and she's got like some family friends and things like that. And then we sat down, we're like, who's your friends? And I just sat there, I was like, and I sat back and I was like, I don't have a lot of people that I would call my friend. I talk to so many people. I have a job where I talk to people. My business allows me to talk to all these different people. A lot of people know who I am, but no one, I have very few people that will understand me and do all these other things. The one thing I do have credit for that I said that she didn't like is that if I ever had a problem, I have like a list of times that I went to these people middle of the night, maybe had a few, maybe crying, maybe just having a bad time, like, and they were there for me. They opened their arms, opened their door, and I was like, yeah, those are those are great, man. And I think so weird. Didn't think it's an emotional subject, but you just said, I'm like, now you just sit and you think about it, and you're like, we lucky. I'm lucky, and that's what I told her. I've had moments where, like, I was gonna drive. I had a few. That's for fair, but I was gonna drive 6 hours to meet my biological father, who I don't really care. When I say I don't really care about, like, when you've had a few, you get emotional. You got all these other things, and like I was like, I just need to meet him. I've met him, and it's just something that's always on my heart. It always hurts me that, like, I've never met this guy, and but here I had I called one of my friends. She said her boyfriend will come with me. My dad was my stepdad, but he's my dad to me. Yeah, he's always my dad. He was gonna take me. He was gonna drive me 6 hours. Like, yo. So that's why I can go through so many memories. But look, my point to the message will always be, just cherish the relationships you got and value what there is to value in those relationships, because, like I said, you never know when the last time you actually interact with these people is. It could be a life-changing event. It could be you just grow out of touch. It could be circumstances change. So many things can happen, and you can lose something that you might not see full value in now, but you'll look down the line and see it. At least that's what I do. I always look down the line and I go, yo, I wonder how these people, yes, those guys are doing so well. Yes, that old group from school, man, those guys are inseparable. So nice to be with them. And look at them still doing what they wanted to do. And it's just, yeah, it's really cool, man. So we're on to over Genesis 22, 1 to 19. So that's what we're going to go over. This is literally what we needed to do. So here we go. If you want to read. If you don't, you can put up with my reading. But so Abraham's faith is tested. So remember the story. This is going to build on what we spoke about earlier. So I hope you watched earlier just to understand what happened just before this. Okay? So sometime later, God tested Abraham's faith. Abraham, God called. Yes, he replied, here I am. Take your son, your only son. Yes, Isaac, whom you love so much, and go to the land of Moriah. Go and sacrifice him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains, which I will show you. The next morning Abraham got up early. He saddled his donkey and took 2 of his servants with him, along with his son Isaac. Then he chopped wood for a fire for a burnt offering and set out for the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day of their journey, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. Stay here with the donkey, Abraham told the servants. The boy and I will travel a little further. Well, we will worship there, and then we'll come right back. So Abraham placed the wood for the burnt offering on Isaac's shoulders, while he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the 2 of them walked on together, Isaac turned to Abraham and said, Father? Yes, my son, Abraham replied. We have the fire and the wood. The boy said, but where's the sheep for the burnt offering? God will provide the sheep for the burnt offering, my son, Abraham answered, and they both walked on together. When they arrived at the place God had told them to go, Abraham built an altar and arranged wood on it. Then he tied his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood, and Abraham picked up the knife to kill his son as a sacrifice. At that moment, an angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham. Yes, Abraham replied, here I am. Don't lay a hand on that boy, the angel said. Do not hurt him in any way, for now I know that you truly fear God, and that you have withheld even me, your son, your only son, without him. Then Abraham looked up and saw the ram caught by its horns in a thicket. So he took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering in place of his son. Abraham named the place Yahweh Yireh, which means the Lord will provide. To this day, people still use that name as proverb. On the mountain, on the Lord, it will be provided. Then the angel of the Lord called again to Abraham from heaven. This is what the Lord says. Because you have obeyed me and have not withheld me even your son, your only son, I swear by my own name that I will certainly bless you. I will multiply your descendants beyond number, like the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will conquer cities of their enemies, and through your descendants, all the nations of the earth will be blessed, all because you have obeyed me. Then they returned to the servants and traveled back to Beersheba, where Abraham continued to live. There we go. So, literally, like we said, the last thing where Abraham kind of had to give up Sarah's son, essentially, if I've read that right, he's now had to give up his own, and that's tough. Like we said, that first one, you'd kind of feel built him up to the next one. And this is, like we always say with God, is that there's so many times where you might be tested now because it's preparing you for something that's coming later. And I feel like that's what we see here with Abraham's testing of his faith over here. And then what do we say? Hagar and Ishmael are sent away. So could we say the degree was the same? I would say probably not, but to sit here and just go, wow, it's a lot. Like when we read here, this upsets Abraham very much because Ishmael was his son. So that's what we read here. So when we read that, you see that he's kind of preparing him for something that he asks for later. And Abraham passes the first test, lives on in life, and then he has to do the second test, and he passes the second test, and then we see everything that happens afterwards, and we will read about more of it now. And this is why Abraham is so cool just to read about, because you're just sitting here and you admiring the fact that we sit and we debate whether, like, if God asks you to try something a little different, we go, oh, no, I'm not doing that. That's not worth my time. That's not worth my effort. The consequences might not be what I want. Like, there are so many things we would argue then rather than just do it. And I'm the same. Like I said in the last episode, I sat, and for me, it was a way of defiance to, there's my bedtime. It was a way of defiance to not do what I knew I needed to do, because I was like, if you are going to make this difficult, then I'll just not do it until it suits me. And it's wrong. It's a bad mentality to have. Nice thing is I'm aware enough to go, that wasn't right. And I promise you, I went to bed, maybe I slept a bit too easy, but I woke up and I was like, I have to do this now. Like, it needs to happen. No, don't avoid this thing. Let's get it done. Let's power through it, Josh. You and I know it sounds terrible with the third person, but you said, you go, let's do it. We'll get through it. We will learn something that we might have missed before. Maybe God didn't want what we said to be what our message was for this part. Maybe he wanted to change it, and we just need to read and see it. And looking back on it, the message has slightly changed. We're now looking at the preparation in Genesis 21, and then the action in Genesis 22. And that's the focus point. And that's just how I feel. I also think I got to share some cool memories and just affirm certain things in my head that I go, like, it's not things that I normally say out loud. But yeah, this is a private thing. Sorry about that. I mean, from what I see, not many people read it, watch this anyway. And no one's going to know in my close circle that I do this, because it will be in its own thing. I'm going to put these on silent because there's currently football games happening, and there's like 5 of them, man. So this is going to be a loud one. But yeah, so let's go over the notes. Let's see what we say. So we look at 22. God tested Abraham not to trip him up and watch him fall, but to deepen his capacity to obey God, and thus to develop his character. Just as fire refines ore to extract precious metals, God refines us through difficult circumstances when we are tested. We can complain, or we can try to see how God is stretching us to develop okay, that doesn't make sense. The character necessary to be his followers. So it says, I read the nice way, but it says, we can try to see how God is stretching us to develop in us the character necessary to be his followers. Okay, now that I read it, it makes sense. So it's character development, like we just spoke about. It's something where you sit and you go, he hasn't given you a test that he doesn't think you're ready for. Sure, you might have skipped a test or two because you're being defiant. You're doing what I did. You found a reason not to do it rather than to get on with it. And sure, you might miss it, but God would have prepped you for these things. He doesn't give battles to people that aren't able to handle them. So yeah, that's what I think we should focus on. Is literally, sometimes you just get on with it. That you are capable of doing it. You might think you're not. You might think that there's things in your way. There might be obstacles. There might be people. Financial difficulties is always a common one, and these things can all exist. But focus on your part. I know it's such a common message, and I've drilled this into my. You guys think you hear this a lot. I drill this into my head so often because I go through the same thing every day where I go, "Ugh, I'm just not good enough, or I'm not good at what I need to do, and I want to be better, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. And why can't I just have the ability to do these things like other people do?" And I just sit and like it's just do what your message from God is. Go help the people you want to help. This is how like. There's things that I feel that I get led to thinking of creating and doing, and it's just you've. I'll tell you the story in the next thing, but things just line up so nicely. And after my little outburst yesterday, I think I literally confessed everything here, and literally what happens, everything that I was like putting off because of certain things and just not feeling great, the things that could help me in my work and stuff like that I wasn't feeling positive about, like I ended up getting them today, and I'm just like, wow. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's just, you just have to go. Don't know how that happens, but thank you, God. That's the first thing I do. But yeah, that's me for tonight. You guys must have a good night. And I've still got one more. So it's not me for tonight, but it's you for today, me for tonight. It's currently Tuesday, or Wednesday. I'm going to do Wednesday's day. I'm going to try to get all these out on Thursday. My birthday's on Friday. So yeah, thanks, guys.